Shalom. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat sas. Now, when I say Shabbat sas, sas in Hebrew means happy or rejoice. And that's what that word means in that particular case. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator and the Maker of heaven and earth. This particular presentation is not going to be long, but we just wanted to go over briefly, if we will, brothers and sisters, a matter concerning what is written in the Apocrypha and concerning what is written within the scriptures itself. So I'm going to type in Shalom Shabbat Sas. All right. First off, or should I say secondary, if we will, wanted to address this. All right. This is something I was going to propose on Friday nights at 9 p.m. It was going to be a history class based on biblical studies. Then on Saturday, the Shabbat, at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have a Hebrew class. And then we was going to, on Saturday night after the Shabbat, have a presentation on the scriptures, a chapter, a lesson. All right. With everything going on regarding Passover and other matters, not to talk business, but I'm dealing with the process of putting another book out. This particular brochure, flyer, if you will, we intend to do this, but it will be on these times after the release of the next Hebrew books. So I just wanted to point that out in that particular case. All right, now as stated, not going to be long, but I wanted to go over something in here real quick in the Apocrypha, if we will. We're going to go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 9, verse 15. All right, Ecclesiasticus chapter 9, and we're going to read in verse 15 and see what it says. If I can be heard, give me a 1. Just wanted to point that out. Here's what we read in Ecclesiasticus chapter 9, verse 15. Let your talk be with the wise, and all thy communication in the law of the Most High. So, brothers and sisters, let your talk be with the wise, and all thy communication in the law of the Most High. Thank you, Brother Zakai, for that, for typing in that 1. What can we point out by reading that in Ecclesiasticus 9, verse 15? It is unwise and unprofitable and unfruitful to have conversation with that which is not wise, with that which is of folly, with that which is of foolishness, which is the opposite of wisdom, or the dark side of wisdom, if we will. So, in reading what we just read in Ecclesiasticus chapter 9, verse 15, let thy talk be with the wise, and all thy communication in the law of the Most High. Brothers and sisters, the reason why I wanted to have gone over that is because too much time is spent in discussing that which is not profitable in many cases. Too much time is spent in folly talk, in foolishness, if you will. And as we know, time waits for no one. You understand? So as the time keeps on going on and so forth and so on, there is no reason to spend quality, needed, dependable, and accessible time in that which is unwise. So that's why I wanted to go over that in that particular case. Another portion, if we will, in the book of Ecclesiasticus, in the Apocrypha. We are in the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 28, if we will. All right? We are in chapter 28, verse 9. This is one of my favorite quotes And here is what we read. All right. Ecclesiasticus chapter 28, verse 9, and we're reading in the Apocrypha. Thank you to whoever clicked the thumbs up on that one. A sinful man disquieteth friends, and maketh debate among them that be at peace. So if you can see, brothers and sisters, that there is shalom, there is shalwa, there is peace, there is tranquility, there is the aspect in the spirit of unity, if you will. It says right here, brothers and sisters, this. What? A sinful man disquieteth friends, and maketh debate among them that be at peace. In other terms, we might say instigator. We might say the concept or the ideology, of trying to impose a thought that was not there in another person's thought process. That's wicked, brothers and sisters. And so the reason why we can go into things such as in the Apocrypha, as we read here in the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus in this chapter 28, is because it shows you the character of people who do this kind of thing and what they are to be described as. So let's go to verse 8 of the same chapter. We are now reading in Ecclesiasticus chapter 28, and we are going to go, brothers and sisters, to verse 8. Abstain from strife, and thou shalt diminish thy sins, for a furious man will kindle strife. So strife or contention in Hebrew is called riba, brothers and sisters. It comes from the root word rib, if we will, brothers and sisters, which means contention, strife, which leads into arguments, which leads into slander, which leads into misunderstanding, which leads into things that should not be, unnecessary things. So we want to take this advice written in the book of the Apocrypha. Again, we're going to read now verse 8 and 9, and then go on to the scriptures itself in the Bible, okay? It says this: abstain from strife, and thou shalt diminish thy sins, for a furious man will kindle strife. A sinful man disquieteth friends, and maketh debate among them that be at peace. So, brothers and sisters, if you can see that there is contention that's not necessary, if you can begin to see, brothers and sisters, that there's strife where there should not be, there's something wrong with that situation. And in that particular case, that's something that we just want to go over in that particular matter, right? Now, let's go, if you will, into the scriptures in the Bible in here. All right. This week coming, I'm going to get a new one. I'm gonna have to get a new one. But let's go on and read what it says, if you will. We are going to go, brothers and sisters, into the book of Proverbs, chapter 9. And we're going to read in verse 7 and see what it says. Proverbs 9, verse 7. No, let's start in verse 6. Proverbs 9, verse 6. All right. And it reads as follows: forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding. He that reproveth a scorner getteth to himself shame, and he that rebuketh a wicked man getteth himself a blot. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. The fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. So, brothers and sisters, it says in verse 10, the fear, meaning the respect of Yah, is the beginning of wisdom. And the knowledge of the holy, meaning the Holy One, is understanding. Verse 8, we want to point out: reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. So, brothers and sisters, you first have to rebuke someone And as Proverbs 15 states, there is a rebuke that is comely. You have to know, generally speaking, on how to approach a matter, how to address someone in a particular case. You just can't quote, do you, and then expect it to be done in wisdom. You just can't go and say, I'm going to just fly off the top of the head. Sometimes we have to use, at all times actually, kakma, which is wisdom. So these are things we want to point out in that particular case. All right? And let's remember, it says, forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding. So in closing this out, brothers and sisters, we want to go to Proverbs chapter 1. All right? And here is what we read in this particular case. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7. And we're going to close out afterward. The fear of the Most High is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. My son, hear the instruction of your father, and forsake not the law of your mother, for they shall be an ornament of grace upon thy head, and chains about thy neck. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privily for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and whole as those that go down into the pit. We will find all precious substance. We will fill our houses with spoil. Cast in thy lot among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path, for their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain is the net spread in the sight of any bird, and they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privily for their own lives. Brothers and sisters, the point in reading that portion in Proverbs chapter 1 in the scriptures is to correlate with what we read in the other parts. Forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding. The beginning of wisdom is the fear or the respect of the Most High. And it says, a sinful man will make debate among they who are friends. Forsake that energy and live, and go in the way of understanding is what we wanted to point out. Proverbs chapter 1 complements that by saying that they who are like that, they look privily for their own lives. So, brothers and sisters, we have to know the character of our friends, of our peoples, if we will, of ourselves as well. See where our spirit resides in and what our spirit conforms to. And one of the things we want to point out too is that David said in Psalms chapter 51, take not thy Holy Spirit from me. David saw what happened with Saul when the spirit of the Most High was removed from Saul and the things that happened. David did not want that to happen to him. So, brothers and sisters, we don't want our name, no disrespect intended, to be like that of Saul, who didn't know what friend to confide in, and the Most High had cut him off from vision and prophets and understanding, and did not visit him in dreams. So Saul thought it was a good idea in the Bible in 1 Samuel 28 to conjure up the dead. We don't want to go into the house of the dead, the physical dead or the spiritual dead, for advice and understanding. That's why we read earlier in Ecclesiasticus, let your communication be with that in the law of the Most High. So, in closing out, we're going to say shalom. Hopefully, all is well with us, brothers and sisters. Most High bless. And the intention, as wanted to point out, regarding the doing of these videos on these particular channels at these particular times will be once another book is released. We just want the update in this particular case. All right. For those who subscribe to the channel, for those who share the videos, and for those who support it, most I bless you. Please subscribe. And if you do happen to click dislike, please explain in the comments why you dislike. With that, most I bless. Shalom.